Captain Elena Vasquez stood on the bridge of the Prometheus Unbound and watched the stars through the massive viewing window. She had been in space for 20 years, but nothing had prepared her for this moment. The ship beneath her feet was 15 kilometers long and 3 kilometers wide. It was the largest thing humanity had ever built. The bridge stretched out before her like a small city. 50,000 people worked on this ship. Engineers, scientists, soldiers, and support crew all lived and worked in the metal corridors that ran through the massive vessel. The ship had its own farms, factories, and even parks where people could walk under artificial skies. "Captain, all systems are running perfectly," said Commander Chun from his station. He was her second in command and had helped design many of the ship's systems. "The fusion drives are stable. The quantum shields are holding at full power." "We are ready for anything," Elena nodded. The Prometheus Unbound was humanity's answer to the unknown dangers that waited in deep space. For the past 5 years, scout ships had been sending back reports of massive alien structures far beyond human territory. Some were the size of moons, others were even larger. Humanity knew they were not alone in the galaxy, but they had never made contact with other intelligent species. The decision to build the Titan-class warships had not been easy. They cost more money than most countries had ever spent on anything. They used new technologies that barely worked in the testing labs, but humanity's leaders knew one simple truth. When they finally met aliens, they wanted to meet them as equals, not as victims. "Long-range sensors are picking up something unusual," called out Lieutenant Martinez from the sensor station. "Distance is approximately 2 light hours away. The object appears to be artificial." Elena felt her heart rate increase. This was why they were here. The Prometheus Unbound was on its first mission beyond human space. They were testing the ship's systems and looking for signs of alien life. It seemed they had found both. "Put it on the main screen." Elena ordered. The viewing window changed to show a computer image of what the sensors had detected. Elena stared at the object and felt a chill run down her spine. It was a perfect geometric shape, like a crystal made of metal and light. It was at least 50 kilometers across and clearly not natural. No planet or asteroid could form such precise angles and smooth surfaces. "My God," whispered Dr. Sarah Kim, the ship's head scientist. "It's beautiful and impossible. The energy readings are off the charts. Whatever built this had technology far beyond anything we understand." Elena looked around the bridge. Every person was staring at the screen with the same expression of wonder and fear. This was first contact. After centuries of wondering if humanity was alone, they had their answer. They were not alone. But they still did not know if they were welcome. "All stations, prepare for approach," Elena announced over the ship's communication system. "We are about to make history. Everyone stay calm and do your jobs. We trained for this moment." The Prometheus Unbound began moving toward the alien structure. The massive fusion drives pushed the ship forward at a speed that would have torn apart smaller vessels. But the Titan-class ships were built to handle forces that would crush normal spacecraft. The hull was made of new metal alloys that were stronger than anything used before. The internal structure used gravity generators to keep the crew safe. Even during the most violent maneuvers, as they got closer, more details became visible on the alien structure. It had towers that reached out into space like fingers. Lights moved along its surface in patterns that suggested intelligence and purpose. There were docking bays large enough to hold entire fleets of ships. Whatever species built this, they thought big. "Captain, we are receiving multiple signals," reported the communications officer. "They are coming from all directions. Not from the structure ahead of us, but from empty space around us." Elena frowned. "What kind of signals?" "Unknown origins. The computer is analyzing them now." "But Captain, there are a lot of them, at least 20 different sources." Dr. Kim looked up from her console with excitement and worry on her face. "Captain, I think we have been detected by multiple alien civilizations. These signals appear to be communications between different groups. They are talking about us." Elena felt the weight of command settle on her shoulders. She had trained for combat against human enemies. She had studied strategy and tactics, but no one had prepared her for this. How do you command a ship when you don't know who is watching or what they want? Can we understand any of the communications? She asked. The computer is working on it, but so far, no. These are completely alien languages using transmission methods. We barely understand. Some appear to be quantum-based. Others use principles of physics we have only theorized about. Elena made a decision that would change the course of human history. Continue our approach to the structure. Increase shield power to maximum. Have all weapon systems ready, but do not target anything unless I give the order. We came here to make contact, not to start a war. The bridge crew followed her orders with the efficiency that came from months of training. The Prometheus Unbound continued its approach while alien signals filled the space around them. Elena could imagine alien beings studying her ship, trying to understand what humanity was capable of. She thought about Earth, now several weeks away even at maximum speed. Billions of humans lived their lives without knowing that their future was being decided in this moment. Whatever happened here would determine whether humanity joined the galactic community as friends or enemies. The structure is responding to our approach, announced Lieutenant Martinez. New energy patterns are forming on its surface. It appears to be activating systems that were previously dormant. Elena watched as the alien structure came alive. Light spread across its surface like a city waking up at dawn. Massive doors began opening in its sides. Energy fields that had been invisible suddenly became bright enough to see with the naked eye. "Captain, we are being scanned," reported the tactical officer. "Multiple energy beams are examining our ship. They appear to be non-hostile but very thorough. They are mapping our hull, analyzing our weapons, and somehow looking inside our ship." Elena felt exposed but tried not to show it. Somewhere on that alien structure, beings she could not imagine were learning everything about humanity's most advanced warship. They were seeing human technology, human design, and human capabilities. She hoped they would be impressed rather than threatened. "Any response from the structure itself?" she asked. "Yes, Captain. We are receiving a signal. It appears to be a mathematical sequence. The computer recognizes it as a first contact protocol. They are sending us math problems to test our intelligence." Elena smiled for the first time. Since they had detected the structure, math was universal. No matter what species created it, 2 plus 2 would always equal 4. If aliens wanted to talk through mathematics, humanity could do that. "Send our response?" she ordered. "But let's show them what human mathematicians can do. Have the computer send them a proof of the Riemann hypothesis. If they want to test our intelligence, let's give them something to think about." The communications officer worked at his console for several minutes. "Signal sent, Captain. We included the proof in 3-dimensional holographic format and broadcast it on all frequencies." Elena waited. Around them, the alien signals increased in intensity. Whatever civilizations were watching had just seen humanity solve a mathematical problem that might have been unsolved for millions of years. She wondered what they were thinking now. The Prometheus Unbound continued its approach to the alien structure. Elena knew that everything that happened in the next few hours would determine humanity's place in the galaxy. They had come to the stars in the largest, most powerful ship ever built. Now they would learn if that was enough to earn them respect among beings who had been traveling between worlds. Since before humans discovered fire, the structure grew larger on the screen as they approached. Elena could see that it was even more complex than they had first realized. It was not just a building in space. It was a city, a fortress, and something else entirely that human words could not describe. "All stations, prepare for first contact," Elena announced. "Whatever happens next, remember that you represent all of humanity. Make us proud." The alien signal stopped suddenly. For 30 seconds, space around the Prometheus Unbound was completely silent. Elena felt her chest tighten as she waited. Then the communications console exploded with activity. "Captain, we are receiving hundreds of signals now," said the communications officer, his voice filled with amazement. They are coming from all over this sector of space. The aliens are talking to each other and they sound very excited. Dr. Kim looked up from her science station with wide eyes. Captain, the computer has been analyzing the signal patterns. These are not just random communications. There are at least 6 different alien civilizations talking to each other. And they are all talking about us. Elena walked to the center of the bridge. Through the viewing window, the alien structure was growing larger as they approached. It was even more impressive up close. The surface was covered in symbols that moved and changed like living writing. Energy flowed through channels carved into the metal, creating patterns of light that hurt to look at directly. What are they saying? Elena asked. The computer is still working on translation, but it has identified some patterns. One group keeps sending mathematical sequences. Another is transmitting what appears to be star charts. A third group is sending energy readings. I think they are sharing information about us. Elena nodded. This was exactly what she had expected and feared. Humanity had just announced itself to the galaxy by solving an ancient math problem and approaching an alien structure in the largest warship ever built. Of course, the aliens would want to know everything about them. Captain Long. Range sensors are detecting movement, announced Lieutenant Martinez. Multiple objects are approaching our position from different directions. Distance varies from 6 hours to 3 days travel time. What kind of objects? Ships, Captain. Alien ships. The closest ones are massive. Some are larger than our ship. Others are smaller but moving much faster than should be possible. Elena felt a moment of doubt. The Prometheus Unbound was the most powerful ship humanity had ever created, but they were about to face technologies they did not understand. She pushed the doubt away. Fear had never stopped humans before, and it would not stop them now. Oh. Departments, report status, she ordered. Engineering reports all systems normal. Fusion drives at 95% efficiency. Quantum shields holding steady. Weapon systems ready. All defensive systems active but not targeting anything. Medical bay prepared for any casualties. Emergency team standing by. Sciences division ready to record everything. This is the most important moment in human history. Elena looked around the bridge at her crew. These were the best people humanity had to offer. Engineers who had designed impossible machines. Scientists who had solved problems that previous generations thought unsolvable. Soldiers who had trained their entire lives for battles they hoped would never come. The alien structure is opening, Dr. Kim announced. Those massive doors we saw earlier are sliding apart. There is something coming out. On the main screen, Elena could see lights moving inside the structure. Whatever was emerging was big enough to be visible even at their current distance. As it came into view, she realized it was not a ship at all. It was a platform of some kind, covered in towers and energy collectors. It's a space station, she said quietly. That entire structure is some kind of diplomatic facility. The communications officer suddenly sat up straight. Captain, we are receiving a new signal. This one is different. It's coming from the structure ahead of us, and it's in perfect English. Elena felt her heart skip a beat. Put it through. A voice filled the bridge. It was neither male nor female, and it spoke with perfect pronunciation but no emotion. Greetings, travelers from the third planet of the Yellow Star. You have been invited to participate in formal first contact protocols. Please proceed to the docking facility that is now visible ahead of you. Elena looked at her crew. Everyone was staring at the speakers with amazement. An alien intelligence had just spoken to them in their own language. How did they learn English so quickly? Whispered Commander Chun. Dr. Kim was working frantically at her console. Captain, the structure has been scanning our ship for the past hour. They have been analyzing our communications, our computer systems, and somehow our language databases. They learned English by studying us. Elena stepped forward. This is Captain Elena Vasquez of the Earthship Prometheus Unbound. We accept your invitation for formal contact. The alien voice responded immediately. We are pleased by your acceptance. Please be aware that representatives from multiple galactic civilizations are approaching this location. Your arrival has generated significant interest throughout known space. What kind of interest? Elena asked. There was a pause before the voice answered. Your species has demonstrated mathematical capabilities that were unexpected. Your ship displays technologies that do not match your apparent development level. And your approach to this facility shows either great courage or great foolishness. A galactic community wishes to determine which. Elena felt a cold anger rise in her chest. The alien's words were polite, but the meaning was clear. The galaxy's established civilizations thought humans were either impressive or dangerous, and they wanted to decide which before taking action. We come in peace, Elena said. Humanity seeks friendship and trade with other intelligent species. That will be determined through proper channels. Please prepare for docking. You will be permitted to bring a small diplomatic party aboard this facility. Be aware that your ship and crew will be monitored during your stay. The communication ended. Elena looked around the bridge and saw the same expression on every face. They had just been politely threatened by an alien intelligence that had learned their language in an hour and was treating them like children who needed supervision. Captain, the alien ships are getting closer, reported the tactical officer. The nearest ones will arrive in 4 hours. I'm reading weapon signatures that I don't understand, but they are definitely military vessels. Elena made a decision that would echo through history. Open a channel to the alien facility. Channel open, Captain. This is Captain Vasquez. We appreciate your invitation, but I want to make something clear. The Prometheus Unbound will dock at your facility as equals, not as subjects for evaluation. We will bring whatever diplomatic party we choose, and we will not accept monitoring of our ship without our permission. The alien voice returned, and for the first time it sounded surprised. Your position is noted, but you may not understand the situation. Multiple galactic powers are approaching with fleets. They view your species as an unknown factor that must be assessed and classified. Then they can assess us as free beings who make their own choices, Elena replied. Humanity has never bowed to threats, and we will not start now. Dr. Kim looked up from her console with excitement. Captain, I'm detecting massive energy signatures from the approaching alien fleets. But our quantum shields are designed to handle energies far beyond anything they're showing. We might actually be more advanced than they realize. Elena smiled grimly. Humanity had built the Titan-class ships expecting to face unknown technologies. They had designed them with every possible threat in mind. It was possible that human paranoia and over-engineering had given them an advantage. The docking platform is extending toward us, announced the navigation officer. It appears to be automated. No alien crew visible. Elena watched as a structure larger than most space stations moved toward their ship. The alien technology was impressive, but it moved slowly and predictably. Human engineering favored speed and adaptability. She was beginning to think that the galaxy's older civilizations might have become comfortable with their dominance and stopped pushing the boundaries of what was possible. All hands, prepare for docking, she announced over the ship's communication system. We are about to make first contact with multiple alien species. Remember that you represent all of humanity. Show them what humans are capable of. As the Prometheus Unbound moved toward the alien facility, Elena thought about the billions of people back on Earth. They were depending on her to make the right choices in the next few hours. Whatever happened during these first contact negotiations would determine whether humanity entered the galactic community as equals or subjects. Captain, the alien fleets are beginning to take positions around the facility, reported Lieutenant Martinez. They are maintaining what appears to be a safe distance, but they have us surrounded. Elena looked at the tactical display. 6 different fleets were approaching from different directions. Some had ships that were sleek and graceful. Others were massive and heavily armed. All of them were clearly designed to impress and intimidate anyone they encountered. Let them come, Elena said quietly. They want to see what humans are made of. Let's show them. The docking platform reached. The Prometheus unbound and attached itself with surprising gentleness. Elena could feel the slight vibration through the ship's hull as the alien technology interfaced with human systems. Docking complete, Captain. The aliens are requesting that we send our diplomatic party to the central conference chamber. Elena looked around the bridge one more time. Everything that happened next would determine humanity's future among the stars. Elena walked through the airlock into the alien facility and immediately knew. She was in a place built by minds very different from human ones. The corridor stretched ahead of her for what seemed like kilometers, but the walls curved in ways that made her eyes hurt. Gravity felt normal, but the air tasted of metal and electricity. Commander Chun stayed close to her left side, his hand resting near his weapon. Dr. Kim walked on her right, her eyes wide with wonder as she recorded everything with her portable scanner. Behind them, 6 Marine guards followed in perfect formation. The architecture is incredible, Dr. Kim whispered. These walls appear to be grown rather than built. The metal is alive somehow, it's responding to our presence. Elena had noticed it too. As they walked, lights appeared in the walls ahead of them and faded behind them. The floor beneath their feet felt warm and seemed to adjust its texture to make walking easier. Whatever species had built this place understood technology in ways that humans were only beginning to imagine. They reached a massive door that opened silently as they approached. Beyond it was a chamber so large that Elena could not see the far walls. The ceiling disappeared into darkness above them. In the center of the room was a circular platform surrounded by viewing areas at different heights and angles. "Welcome, humans of Earth," said the same emotionless voice they had heard on their ship. "You are the first new species to enter this facility in over 3,000 years. Please take your position on the central platform." Elena led her team to the platform. As they stepped onto it, lights came on around the chamber, revealing the viewing areas. Elena's breath caught in her throat. They were not a lone dot. In the galleries around them sat beings that could only be described as alien. Some looked almost human, but with skin that shimmered like water. Others were tall and thin, with too many arms and eyes that glowed in the dim light. One group appeared to be made of living crystal that reflected light in impossible colors. "Captain Vasquez," the voice continued, "you are now in the presence of representatives from the major civilizations of this galaxy. The Zephyrian Collective, the Vrex Empire, the Stellar Concordat, the Hegemony of Worlds, the Crystal Singers, and the Void Dancers. They have come to meet your species and determine humanity's place in galactic society." Elena looked around the chamber. Each group of aliens sat in their own section, and she could feel them studying her and her team. Some were clearly trying to communicate with her telepathically, sending pressure against her mind that felt like whispers she could not quite hear. "We are honored to meet representatives of so many civilizations," Elena said, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber. "Humanity comes in peace, seeking friendship and trade." A new voice spoke, this one clearly coming from one of the alien groups. It sounded like wind blowing through metal pipes. "Peace is a concept that must be earned, young species. You arrive in our galaxy aboard a vessel of war, armed with weapons we do not recognize, claiming to seek friendship while demonstrating military power." Elena turned toward the source of the voice. It came from the section where the tall, thin beings sat. "We built our ships to defend ourselves against unknown threats. We had no way of knowing what we would find among the stars." Another voice joined the conversation, this one sounding like music played on crystal instruments. "Your mathematical demonstration was impressive, humans. But intelligence alone does not qualify a species for membership in galactic civilization. We must know your intentions and capabilities." Dr. Kim stepped forward slightly. "If I may speak, Captain?" Elena nodded. "We solved that mathematical proof because we wanted to show that humanity is ready to contribute to galactic knowledge. On our world, we believe that sharing discovery makes everyone stronger." The crystal beings seemed to shimmer with approval, but a third voice cut through the chamber like a blade. This one came from beings that looked almost human, but moved with predatory grace. Contributions are meaningless without understanding of hierarchy. Every species must know its place in the galactic order. Some lead, others follow. Which are you, humans? Elena felt anger rise in her chest, but she kept her voice calm. Humanity does not believe in hierarchy based on age or tradition. We believe in cooperation between equals. Every species should have the right to determine its own destiny. The chamber fell silent. Elena could feel the weight of hundreds of alien minds considering her words. She had just challenged the fundamental structure of galactic civilization. And she knew it. The wind voice spoke again, carrying what sounded like amusement. Interesting. Your species appears to be either very wise or very naive. In 3,000 years, no new species has claimed equality with the established powers. Most are grateful for protection and guidance. We are grateful for the opportunity to learn, Elena replied. But we will not trade our freedom for protection we did not. Request, Commander Chun whispered in her ear. Captain, I'm reading massive energy buildups from the fleets outside. They're powering up weapon systems, Elena's mind raced. The aliens were clearly testing humanity's resolve. They wanted to know if humans would back down when threatened. She thought about the Prometheus Unbound floating outside this facility. The ship represented everything humanity had achieved and everything they hoped to become. I need to make something clear, Elena said, her voice carrying to every corner of the chamber. Humanity did not come to this galaxy to conquer or to be conquered. We came to take our place among the stars as a free and independent species. If that is unacceptable to the established powers, then we will return to our own space and develop on our own. The crystal voice spoke again, now with what sounded like concern. Isolation is not a practical option for a developing species. The galaxy is vast and dangerous. Young civilizations require guidance and protection to survive. Then let us prove that humanity can survive without guidance, Elena said. Judge us by our actions, not by our age as a species. A new voice entered. The conversation, deeper and more powerful than the others. It came from a section of the chamber that had been silent until now. Elena looked up and saw beings that seemed to be made of shadow and starlight. The humans speak of proving themselves, the shadow voice said. Very well. Let them demonstrate. Their capabilities, we propose a test. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. What kind of test? Your ship carries weapons that our sensors cannot fully analyze. Your shielding operates on principles we do not completely understand. If humanity wishes to be treated as equals, let them show that their technology matches their confidence. Elena realized that this was the moment everything had been building toward. The aliens were not going to simply accept humanity based on words or mathematical proofs. They wanted to see what humans were actually capable of when threatened. What exactly are you proposing? She asked. The wind voice answered. A demonstration. Your vessel against a representative of each major civilization. Not to destruction, but to prove capability. If your technology is truly advanced enough to support your claims of equality, you should have no difficulty defending yourself. Elena looked around the chamber. Every alien representative was watching her with intense interest. She could feel the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. If she accepted this challenge and failed, humanity would be dismissed as overconfident children. If she refused, they would be seen as cowards hiding behind empty threats. But if she accepted and succeeded, humanity would earn its place in the galaxy through strength and skill. I need to consult with my ship, Elena said. Of course, the shadow voice replied. You have 1 hour to decide. If you accept, the demonstration will begin immediately. If you refuse, humanity will be classified as a protected species and confined to your current territory until you reach acceptable development levels. Elena turned and walked back toward the airlock, her team following close behind. As they left the chamber, she could hear the aliens talking among themselves in languages that sounded like everything from singing to static. Once they were back in the corridor, Commander Chin spoke quietly. Captain, they're boxing us in. Accept the challenge and risk our ship and crew. Refuse and become prisoners in our own system. Dr. Kim was checking her scanner readings. Captain, the energy signatures I recorded in there are incredible. Some of those species have technologies that are thousands of years ahead of anything we understand, but... She paused, looking at the data. But nothing I saw was more advanced than our quantum shielding or our fusion drive systems. We might actually have a chance. Elena thought about the 50,000 people aboard the Prometheus Unbound. They had all volunteered for this mission knowing the risks. They believed in humanity's right to freedom among the stars. She also thought about Earth and the billions of humans who would live with the consequences of whatever decision she made in the next hour. Get me a secure channel to the ship, she said. I need to talk to my senior staff, and I need complete technical specifications on every system we have. If we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. As they walked back toward their ship, Elena felt the weight of representing her entire species. In 1 hour, she would make a decision that would determine whether humanity took its place among the stars as... Elena stood in the conference room aboard the Prometheus Unbound, surrounded by her senior officers. On the table before them lay detailed technical specifications for every system on their ship. The hour was almost up, and she had to make the most important decision in human history. Give me the tactical assessment one more time, she said to Commander Torres. Her chief weapons officer Torres pulled up a holographic display showing the alien fleets positioned around the diplomatic station. 6 ships, Captain, each one represents a different civilization. The Zephyrian vessel appears to rely on energy-based weapons and some kind of mental interference technology. The wreck ship is heavily armored with kinetic weapons that fire projectiles at incredible speeds. He pointed to different ships as he spoke. The Stellar Concordat vessel has modular design, probably designed for adaptability. The Hegemony ship is massive, almost as large as ours, with weapons we can't identify. The Crystal Singer ship appears to be made entirely of some kind of living crystal, and the Void Dancer ship... He paused. Captain, their ship barely shows up on our sensors. It's like it's partially in another dimension. Elena studied the display. Each ship represented thousands of years of technological development and military experience. The Prometheus Unbound was humanity's first attempt at building something that could survive among the stars. But as she looked at the specifications for their own systems, she began to see something the aliens might not expect. Dr. Reeves, what's our assessment of their scanning capabilities? She asked the chief science officer. Interesting question, Captain. They've been very thorough in scanning our hull and basic systems, but I don't think they've been able to penetrate our quantum shielding to see what's inside. They know we have fusion drives and some kind of advanced shielding, but they may not understand how advanced. Commander Chun leaned forward. Captain, are you thinking what I think you're thinking? Elena smiled grimly. These civilizations have been the dominant powers for thousands of years. They're used to new species that build primitive ships and beg for protection. They have no idea what humans are capable of when we're threatened. She stood up and walked to the viewport, looking out at the alien station. Every system on this ship was designed with one goal in mind: survival against unknown threats. We didn't know what we would face out here, so we built the most advanced, most adaptable, most powerful ship we could imagine. Lieutenant Commander Jackson, the chief engineer, spoke up. Captain, our quantum shielding alone operates on principles that are theoretical for most species. Our fusion drives produce more power than ships twice our size, and our weapon systems. He grinned. Let's just say we weaponize physics in ways that even we barely understand. Elena turned back to her officers. Are you all willing to bet humanity's future on this ship and this crew? Every officer in the room nodded without hesitation. Then let's show the galaxy what humans do when someone tries to put us in a cage. 30 minutes later, Elena stood on the central platform in the alien facility. The representatives of 6 galactic civilizations watched from their viewing areas as she made her announcement. Humanity accepts your challenge, she said, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber. We will demonstrate our capabilities against representatives of each civilization. But we propose a modification to your terms. The shadow voice of the Void Dancers spoke first. What modification? Instead of facing each ship individually, we will face all 6 at once. If humanity is to prove itself worthy of equality, let us do so decisively. The chamber erupted in sounds that might have been surprise, amusement, or alarm from the various alien species. Elena waited for the noise to die down. The crystal voice of the singer representative rang out. That is either great courage or great foolishness, human. 6 veteran warships against 1 untested vessel. Our ship is not untested, Elena replied. It has been tested by the greatest challenge any species can face. The need to survive in a hostile universe. The wind voice of the Vrex sounded amused. Very well, if the humans wish to face all of us at once, we accept. The demonstration will be conducted at full combat intensity, but will end when one side yields or is clearly defeated. No vessel will be destroyed unless absolutely necessary, Elena nodded. Agreed. May I return to my ship? You may. The demonstration will begin in 1 hour. Elena and her team made their way back to the Prometheus Unbound quickly. As soon as she reached the bridge, she began issuing orders. All hands to battle stations. This is not a drill. We are about to engage 6 alien warships in combat. Everyone knows their jobs. Trust your training and trust your shipmates. The bridge transformed as the crew shifted into combat mode. Additional displays came online showing every system on the ship. Damage control teams took their positions throughout the vessel. The massive fusion drives began building power for combat maneuvers. Captain, the alien fleets are moving into position, reported Lieutenant Martinez. They're forming a loose sphere around us with approximately 50 kilometers between each ship. Elena looked at the tactical display. The alien ships were positioning themselves to attack from all directions while staying far enough apart to avoid hitting each other with their own weapons. It was a textbook formation for fighting a single opponent. Weapons status? She asked. All systems online, Captain. Particle beams charged and ready. Kinetic launchers loaded. Defense systems active. We also have our special packages ready for deployment, Elena nodded. The special packages were humanity's secret weapon. Thousands of autonomous drones that could operate independently of the main ship. Each drone was equipped with its own shielding, weapons, and artificial intelligence. No other species in the galaxy had developed anything like them. Shields at maximum power. Begin combat maneuvers. The Prometheus Unbound began moving. Unlike the slow, stately movements of most large warships, the human vessel accelerated quickly and changed direction with an agility that no ship its size should possess. The fusion drives had been designed to push the massive vessel beyond what alien engineers would consider possible. The alien ships are beginning their attack runs, reported the tactical officer. Multiple energy signatures building up. They're going to hit us with everything they have. Elena watched the display as 6 different types of weapons fired at her ship simultaneously. Energy beams that could melt asteroids. Kinetic projectiles moving at significant fractions of light speed. Some kind of crystal formation that seemed to grow through space toward them, and something from the Void Dancer ship that barely registered on their sensors. All of the attacks struck the Prometheus Unbound's quantum shields and simply disappeared. No damage to report, Captain, called out the damage control officer. The shields absorbed everything without even fluctuating. Elena could imagine the surprise on the alien ships. Their most powerful weapons had struck a human vessel and accomplished nothing. Return fire, she ordered. Target the Vrex ship first. Let's show them what our kinetic launchers can do. The Prometheus Unbound's main guns fired. The projectiles they launched were not simple chunks of metal. They were complex devices that could adjust their trajectory mid-flight and carried enough kinetic energy to crack small moons. The Vrex ship's shields flared as the projectiles struck, but they held. However, Elena could see that the alien vessel was staggered by the impact. Its return fire was less accurate than before. Deploy the special packages, Elena ordered. thousands of hatches opened along the hull of the Prometheus Unbound. From each one emerged a drone the size of a fighter craft. Within seconds, the space around the human ship was filled with autonomous units that began executing complex attack patterns. The alien ships found themselves facing not one opponent, but thousands. The drones moved with impossible coordination, striking from every angle while avoiding each other perfectly. Their weapons were smaller than the main ship's guns, but there were so many of them that they overwhelmed the aliens' ability to respond. The Zephyrian ship is trying some kind of mental attack, reported Dr. Kim from the science station. I'm reading massive telepathic energy directed at our ship. Elena felt a moment of pressure in her mind, as if someone was trying to reach into her thoughts. But the sensation faded quickly. Mental shielding holding? Perfectly, Captain. The aliens can't affect human minds through our quantum fields. Elena watched as the battle continued. The alien ships were powerful and their crews were experienced, but they were fighting a type of warfare they had never encountered before. The Prometheus Unbound moved like a ship one-tenth its size while its drones swarmed around the enemy vessels like angry insects. The Crystal Singer ship is trying to harmonize with our hull frequency, reported the chief engineer. They're attempting to shatter our armor with sonic weapons. Counter harmonics online, Elena ordered. Show them that human engineering doesn't break easily. The Prometheus Unbound's hull began generating its own sonic frequencies, canceling out the alien attack. The Crystal Singer ship's weapons had no effect, one by one. The alien vessels found their weapon systems overwhelmed by the drone swarms. Their shields began failing under the constant bombardment from thousands of small but precise attacks. Elena walked back into the alien diplomatic chamber, but everything had changed. The viewing galleries that had once looked down on the central platform now felt like they were at eye level. The alien representatives no longer seemed like judges examining a primitive species. They looked like beings who had just witnessed something they did not fully understand. The shadow voice of the Void Dancers spoke first, and for the first time it carried something that sounded like respect. Humans of Earth, your demonstration was most enlightening. Your vessel and crew performed beyond our calculations. Elena stood in the center of the platform with Commander Chun and Dr. Kim beside her. She could feel the weight of alien attention, but it was different now. They were no longer studying her like a specimen. They were evaluating her as an equal. We are pleased that our capabilities met your expectations, Elena said calmly. Now, perhaps we can discuss more productive topics than tests and demonstrations. The crystal voice of the singers rang through the chamber. Indeed, your technology appears to operate on principles that our scientists do not fully comprehend. We are curious about the possibility of knowledge exchange. Elena noticed the change in language. The aliens were no longer talking about guidance and protection. They were talking about exchange, which implied equality. The wind voice of the Vrex carried what might have been amusement. Your drones fight with coordination that suggests a level of artificial intelligence we have not seen before. And your ship moves like something one-tenth its size. How did such a young species develop such advanced technology? Dr. Kim stepped forward slightly. If I may answer that question, Captain. Elena nodded. Our species has always faced challenges that required us to innovate or die. We built our technology assuming we would face threats we could not predict or understand. That made us very good at creating adaptable solutions. A new voice joined the conversation, speaking in harmonious tones that seemed to come from the section where beings made of living metal sat. Adaptability is indeed valuable. But your species has demonstrated something more concerning. Your ship was designed for war, yet you speak of peace. How do we reconcile this contradiction? Elena had expected this question. Every human ship is designed for war because we learned long ago that the universe does not care about good intentions. We build our ships to survive anything, but we use them to protect what we value. Peace is not the absence of the ability to fight. Peace is choosing not to fight when you have the power to destroy your enemies. The chamber fell silent as the aliens considered her words. Elena could feel them evaluating not just her answer but the philosophy behind it. The deep voice of what appeared to be the hegemony representative spoke next. Your words suggest that humanity views strength and peace as compatible concepts. Most young species see them as opposites. Most young species probably did not evolve on a world where cooperation was necessary for survival, Elena replied. Humans learned to work together while remaining capable of defending themselves. We brought that approach to the stars. Commander Cheen stepped forward. If I may add something, Captain. Our ship carries 50,000 people. Scientists, engineers, farmers, teachers, artists. We built a warship, but we filled it with everything that makes civilization worth protecting. The alien representatives seemed to confer among themselves in languages that ranged from musical tones to patterns of light. Elena waited patiently, knowing that the next few minutes would determine humanity's future relationship with galactic civilization. Finally, the shadow voice spoke again. Humans of Earth, the galactic community has reached a preliminary consensus. Your species will be offered full membership in the Galactic Council with all associated rights and responsibilities. Elena felt a surge of triumph, but she kept her expression neutral. We are honored by the offer. What exactly does full membership entail? The crystal voice answered. Full members have the right to establish colonies in unclaimed systems, engage in unrestricted trade with all galactic civilizations, and participate in the governance of interspecies affairs. In return, members agree to abide by galactic law and contribute to the common defense against external threats. What external threats? Elena asked. The chamber became noticeably quieter. The wind voice of the Vrex answered reluctantly. There are things in the deep spaces between galaxies that occasionally turn their attention toward civilized worlds. The galactic community has successfully defended against such incursions for millennia, but only through cooperation. Elena realized that the galaxy's established powers were not just offering humanity membership out of respect for their military capabilities. They needed allies who could contribute to galactic defense. We accept the offer of full membership, Elena said, but with certain conditions. The harmonious voice of the metal beings carried surprise. Conditions? New members typically accept membership gratefully without conditions. Elena smiled. As you have observed, humans are not typical. Our conditions are simple. First, humanity will maintain sovereign control over our home system and any colonies we establish. Second, we will contribute to galactic defense, but we will not be required to participate in conflicts between member species. Third, we reserve the right to develop our technology without external oversight. The alien representatives began talking among themselves again, but Elena could hear tension in their communications. She was asking for privileges that were usually reserved for the most senior galactic powers. The shadow voice spoke again. Your conditions are unprecedented for a new member species. Why should they be granted? Elena gestured toward the viewport where the damaged alien ships were still visible. Because we have proven that humanity brings capabilities to the galactic community that did not exist before. Our technology, our approach to problem solving, and our willingness to defend ourselves and our allies make us valuable partners, not subordinates. Dr. Kim added, we also bring fresh perspectives on science and engineering. Our mathematical solution to the Riemann hypothesis was just the beginning. Human scientists have been working on problems that could benefit all galactic civilizations. The crystal voice rang with what sounded like excitement. What kinds of problems? Faster than light travel without the dimensional distortions that current technology creates. Energy generation that does not require exotic matter. Medical treatments that work across species barriers. And artificial intelligence that can enhance organic thinking without replacing it. Elena could feel the mood in the chamber shifting. The aliens were no longer thinking about containing humanity. They were thinking about what humanity could contribute to. Galactic civilization. The wind voice of the Vrex spoke with obvious interest. If your species can deliver on these promises, your conditions may indeed be acceptable. The deep voice of the hegemony representative added, "However, such extraordinary privileges must be earned through extraordinary contributions. Are you prepared to demonstrate good faith by sharing some of your technological advances?" Elena looked at Dr. Kim, who nodded slightly. They have prepared for this possibility. "We are prepared to share our gravitational manipulation technology immediately," Elena said. "This will allow existing ships to achieve better fuel efficiency and maneuverability. We are also prepared to establish joint research facilities where human and alien scientists can work together on common problems." The chamber erupted in excited communications between the alien delegations. Elena realized that she had just offered them something they had been trying to develop for centuries. After several minutes, the shadow voice spoke for all the representatives. "Humans of Earth, your conditions are accepted. Humanity will be granted full membership in the Galactic Council with the sovereign rights you have requested. In return, you will share specified technologies and contribute to galactic research efforts." Elena felt a weight lift from her shoulders. Humanity had not just survived first contact. They had established themselves as a major power in galactic civilization. "We accept these terms," she said formally. "When will the formal ceremonies take place?" "Immediately," the crystal voice replied. "This facility serves multiple purposes. We can conduct the formal membership ceremony here and now." Over the next hour, Elena participated in ceremonies that were both alien and strangely familiar. Each galactic civilization had its own way of welcoming new members, but all of them involved promises of friendship, cooperation, and mutual defense. When the ceremonies were complete, Elena found herself holding documents that formally recognized Earth as a sovereign member of galactic civilization. Humanity now had the right to claim worlds, establish trade routes, and participate in decisions that affected billions of sentient beings across the galaxy. As Elena and her team prepared to return to the Prometheus Unbound, the shadow voice spoke privately to her. "Captain Vasquez, your species has impressed us all today. But be aware that some civilizations view rapid advancement with suspicion. You have made humanity powerful friends, but you may also have made enemies." Elena nodded. "Humans have always had enemies. We learned long ago that the best way to deal with them is to be too strong to attack and too valuable to alienate." She looked around the chamber one last time. Representatives of 6,